In this forecast, we're going to be talking about severe weather with damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes across the United States the rest of this weekend and going into next week. We're also going to be talking about a remnants of Tropical Storm Alvin's moisture in the desert Southwest, bringing heavy rainfall and some flash flooding, and looking ahead into the middle of June as more severe weather and heavy rainfall will be expected across the United States as well. If you are new here, make sure to give a thumbs up. It gets the information out to more and more people. Turn on post notification bell so you are notified for future videos and live streams we do on the channel. Subscribe to the channel as you have daily weather forecast videos, and also share it with a friend, family member, anybody that you know, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Let's look here at the slight risk of severe weather we have in East Texas today. This is a 2 out of 5 on the risk scale. Also seeing severe weather. This is a 1 out of 5 in the dark green, a marginal risk into Idaho, Montana, northwestern Wyoming, Colorado down into New Mexico. We also have it over here into Tennessee, North Carolina, and South Carolina, and southern Florida. So a lot of different areas of severe weather potentially as we go through the afternoon and the evening. Damaging winds will be our main mode of severe weather, especially here in East Texas, near the Waco region in particular, in the I-35 corridor. We're also seeing the potential for hailstones that could be upwards to apple size across Waco and the I-35 corridor there in East Texas. Also seeing the potential of quarter-size hail up here into Montana, into Colorado and New Mexico, into the Carolinas and southern Florida. And then we have a chance of tornadoes. It's a low chance, but a 2% chance of tornadoes in East Texas and a 2% chance of tornadoes or waterspouts there in southern Florida as well. Let's look here at the main area of concern. It's the slight risk, the 2 out of 5 here in East Texas. It's right over the Waco region and the I-35 corridor. Here's noon. We got a couple showers moving across northeast Texas and southwestern Arkansas. By 3 o'clock, we start to see a couple of thunderstorm cells trying to pop up here in East Texas. They're definitely struggling, but if they could start to develop, we could see damaging winds, very large hail, and an isolated tornado threat by 3 o'clock. Going into the 6 o'clock time frame, supercell thunderstorms trying to initiate there down toward the Waco region, south of the DFW Metroplex. These could pose a risk for very large hail, an isolated tornado, and some damaging winds. And then by the time we go into the evening hours, once the sun sets, these storms will really start to fizzle out as they approach the Houston Metroplex by the late evening hours and early overnight hours after midnight here. And looking at the potential for some heavy rainfall where these storms start to develop, we could see some very localized but very heavy rainfall in East Texas, upwards to 3 inches, and that is hovering right over the I-35 corridor on either side and really kind of over the Waco region on average. And this will be isolated. Not everybody will see very heavy rainfall, but definitely could be seeing some bouts of 2 to 3 inches of rain in East Texas as we go through the overnight hours. We're also watching the remnants of Tropical Storm Alvin bringing moisture to the desert Southwest. This is going to be giving us our precipitable water anomalies of around 300% of normal. So the very above normal precipitation anomalies over here into Arizona, Southern California, into Southern Nevada, and moving northward into Utah, Colorado, and eastward there into New Mexico. So a lot of the Four Corners region going to be seeing that here to close out the weekend and going into next week. Here's noon time frame. We got some showers moving into San Diego and south of Phoenix. As we go into the 6 o'clock time frame this evening, notice we have scattered showers and storms as the moisture moves in from the remnants of Tropical Storm Alvin. It's going to overspread the desert Southwest and the Four Corners region, and we could be seeing some very heavy rainfall here as a result. And as we go into Monday, that will continue to bring a slug of moisture through portions of Arizona into New Mexico. So Tucson, into Phoenix and Flagstaff, over there into Albuquerque. Could be seeing some very heavy rainfall. Santa Fe, New Mexico also included. And then as we go through the day on Tuesday, that moves up into areas here, especially more widespread into Denver and portions of the Front Range of the Rockies, as we see some very heavy moisture with that. So when it's all said and done, could actually be seeing some heavy rainfall from Arizona into southern Utah, into portions of Colorado and northwest New Mexico, upwards to 2 or 3 inches here. And this could cause some isolated flash flooding, especially over here in northern New Mexico and Colorado, where we have a lot of terrain and a lot of widespread heavy heavy rainfall out of here, so we could be seeing some very strong runoff here across those hilly areas and the mountainous areas there in the desert southwest. That area of remnant of Tropical Storm Alvin is actually going to link up with a trough in southern Canada and bring a cold front through the middle of the country as we go through this week, and that could spark more severe weather. And you can see here our dew points are going to be starting to increase into the 60s and 70s across the central and northern plains as we go into Monday afternoon, 60s and 70s across the Midwest into the Ohio Valley, all the way down to the southern plains on Tuesday afternoon, and that's going to give us a lot of instability. Here is Monday's instability up to upwards of 4,000 joules per kilogram, and the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe weather extending from portions of Minnesota down through South Dakota, Nebraska, eastern Colorado, all the way down into western Kansas, the Oklahoma and Texas Panhandle all included, or literally from areas of Canada all the way to West Texas, we could be seeing some severe weather. And then Tuesday, it shifts eastward. We have a slight risk from Madison, Wisconsin, all the way back down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area and Wichita Falls, Texas. Be keeping an eye on that. Also, big cities in the mix here: Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Kansas City, and the Davenport Quad Cities. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on Tuesday. Main mode these days will be damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. So again, here's the 4,000 joules per kilogram we have on Monday. Monday morning will be quiet. As we go into the afternoon, a squall line will develop that tells me damaging winds will be the primary mode of severe weather. Large hail could be very large in some spots, upwards to apple size, and we could be seeing a few tornadoes, especially with any storms that develop on the leading edge or any storms that develop out ahead of the main line. Those will be supercells, and those could pose a risk for tornadoes. Those storms will drop south through portions of Nebraska, western Iowa as we go into Monday night, and they could pose still a risk for damaging winds, hail, and a couple of tornadoes. Going into Tuesday, instability right now around 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram there from Wisconsin all the way back into Oklahoma and Texas. Here, the storms from Monday night may continue across Kansas into northern Missouri and western Illinois as we start Tuesday morning. Those will fizzle out, and we'll have new storm development during the afternoon. This is more scattered, so it looks like more supercellular thunderstorms. This may be a day where we see a mixed mode of damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes will probably be maximized down here in Oklahoma, Missouri, eastern Kansas, and North Texas, where the instability is a bit stronger. And we have a lot more of moisture down here. But nonetheless, tornadoes will be possible all the way up into Illinois and Wisconsin as we go through Tuesday afternoon and evening. And they will be slow moving, so some very heavy rainfall could result, and that could give us a couple inches of rain. Now, beyond there, mid to late week, we're going to see instability continue to shift eastward ahead of the cold front. And this will be weak to moderate instability Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So severe weather will be possible in parts of the Ohio Valley, southern Great Lakes region, all the way back to the southern plains as we go into Wednesday. Going into Thursday, severe weather will be possible again from the Ohio Valley, southern Great Lakes, all the way back to the southern plains on an isolated to scattered basis. And then going into Friday, June 6th, it's more from the northeast through the eastern Ohio Valley and down into the Mississippi Valley, where we have the threat for severe weather and some heavier rainfall. And then extending into next weekend, we have northwest flow, maybe another cold front coming through in the Midwest, bringing us more severe weather as we go through Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, into northern Illinois. Overall, the rainfall between now and next Monday on June 9th, we could be seeing the potential for multiple inches of rainfall here, especially down into North Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri, where we could be seeing upwards to 6 to 8 inches in those areas between now and Monday, June 9th, and that could cause some flash flooding. Let's look at our temperatures here before we go, and we definitely see a warm-up across the plains today with highs into the 90s, triple digits in South Texas here as well. We have some record heat up into Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the UP of Michigan tomorrow on June 2nd as 90s surge all the way up into the Duluth area, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Marquette, Michigan, 90s all across the Midwest down into the southern plains and Gulf Coast. And then as we go into Tuesday, here you can see the cold front coming through, bringing a cooling, refreshing air mass into the 60s and 70s to the upper Midwest, and some 80s, 90s further to the east. And that cooling, refreshing air mass will continue to reside across the upper Midwest through the remainder of the week, with highs into the 60s and the 70s all the way through next weekend. And looking here at the middle of June, we have the cooler air remaining across the central and the eastern United States, warmer air across the west, and we have a lot of instability that's going to be building here as we go into next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and especially Father's Day weekend. It looks like a lot of instability going to really start to build across the Midwest there and the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes, and that could result in thunderstorm clusters that bring damaging winds, primarily, and some large hail and a few tornadoes as we get towards Father's Day weekend. More favored across the Midwest, the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the Ohio Valley, but some severe weather will also be possible across the southern plains as we get into Father's Day weekend. Thank you for watching. I definitely hope you enjoy it and you come back. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, turn on post notifications for future videos and live streams, and share it with a friend, family member, or anybody that you know and on social media, and I'll see you all in the next video.